There we go. Getting past all the technical hoopla.
Yes, yes. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, Gonz Sports Talk, on this nice Friday evening. You know what time it is? It's Ravens pregame live right here on Gonz Sports Talk, the second edition for week 2. It's already week 2. Week 1 is dead and gone, and we're moving right along into this big AFC North showdown coming up on Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m. against the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. We can't wait to talk about it. Dom, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, man. It was a heck of a week 1. Like, can we just talk about how crazy week 1 was? Like the way it just capped off on Monday and all that craziness. Football, it gets crazier with time. It just gets crazier with time. But happy week 2 is officially upon us. I mean, I feel like now that the season is here, just gonna just keep on moving along. Heck of a game yesterday, Eagles Vikings, to start us off, and yeah, getting ready for this matchup against the Bengals at 1. It's going to be a fun one. Hopefully not heart attack fun, but it's going to be a fun one.
Yes. Well, first things first, I think it'd be appropriate to go over the most recent injury report for this game coming up. Baltimore, 4 guys on there. Marlowe still not practicing. Ronnie Stanley hasn't practiced. Tyler Linderbaum hasn't practiced, and neither have Marcus Williams. So all the guys that sustained major injuries, or maybe not major, but pretty substantial sized injuries on week 1 against the Texans, didn't practice. Most likely out for this game. Probably out for this game. The only bright spot this week was Mark Andrews was activated to full practice today. So he's on track to play, it looks like. So that's great. He's dealing with that quad injury. But it looks like it's pretty likely, and Rappaport confirmed this in a tweet today, that the plan is to play Mark Andrews on Sunday.
That's good news, because with all the injuries to the defense, we're going to have to be able to match points with the Cincinnati Bengals. And at this point right now, we're going to need all the offensive firepower we can get, because we know how quick these guys can get down the field. Mostly through the pass game, they have one of the best wide receiver trios in the league. So it's definitely going to be, if we're down on defense, it's definitely good for us to be full strength on offense. Well, as close to full strength on offense as we can be, because we have to be able to match blow for blow with these guys. It's not going to be easy.
Definitely not. Well, you're talking about offense. Let's start with offense, since you were talking about it. Ravens offense versus the Bengals defense. What are we going to have to do to put up more points and have just more rhythm altogether than week 1? Because we can both agree, and Todd Monken agrees too, that there was lots of rust, and it was just kind of sloppy. I forget the terminology he used for it in his interview. I'd have to look it up, but he described it pretty much as we just did. Sloppy mistakes need to be cleaned up. Nothing that they can't fix. It's just something they're going to have to build with time. Just get more comfortable as the season goes along. He mentioned this even back in August that we are nowhere close to where we want to be, and that's fine. That's okay. I mean, like we talked about this last episode, we don't want to peak at the way too early. 25 points though for a not in sync offense is not too bad in my opinion.
Not too shabby.
So if we can be a little bit more fluent, then we should be fine, or we should put up more points. The first big key to this game on the offensive side of the ball is, how is the pass protection going to fare? It's got to be better than last week, because we cannot afford to have Lamar running for his life against a good Bengals offense, because if a turnover happens and the Bengals score right off of it, that would be catastrophic, because this offense is too good, way too good to be given short fields. So we need to make sure that we keep Lamar upright, make sure he has all day long on most of these plays, so he can step up, make a throw downfield, and not be influenced to make a bad play or turn the ball over, because we don't want to give free points away. That's the number one thing for me, is the offensive line play. Can we pass protect better? Because that was an issue last week. Run blocking, If we can get the ground game going, that would be really good as well, because that could open up play action. Maybe some RPOs to Zay Flowers outside, little bubble screens. We saw a lot of those last week. Zay Flowers led the team in catches with 9. So I anticipate him getting involved some more. Hopefully they can get OBJ involved some more too. But like Munkin said, sometimes the ball just seems to gravitate to a particular player, and sometimes it goes to other players. So we'll let the game decide how that goes. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it was anything that the Ravens were doing, like, intentionally. I just think that's kind of how the game was called. Like, getting the ball out to Zay Flowers quick was working the entire game for the most part, except for those 2 botched plays at the end. But he was getting a lot of yak. And if we can get some more of those quick passes, make them step up to play the short game, then we can take a deep shot over the top. And that leads me to my second point perfectly. Can we take some more deep shots? Can the offensive line hold up enough to take more deep shots down the field? Because that's something we did not see a lot of last week at all. I think the deepest pass we had was 18 yards, that completion, down to when OBJ caught that over-the-shoulder catch. I'd like to see us take some home run shots, like 50-yard, 60-yard gains, because the Bengals on the defensive side of the ball are missing their top 2 defenders from last year. Von Bell and Jesse Bates both left in free agency, so they've got young guys back there. Daxton Hill, I know, is the starter on one side. I can't remember the other guy's name, but they've got some inexperience at safety. So let's see if we can make them bite and take some deep shots and take advantage of that.
Agreed.
Let the run game open up the deep passes, and let the short passing game open up the deep passes. Make them come up and make tackles, so then we can bomb them over the top. So those are my 2 keys for this offense. Keep Lamar upright and take advantage of the deep shot. Take advantage of the inexperience in the Bengals secondary and hit some home run plays.
Okay. I can't really dismiss anything you're saying. I think you're spot on with a lot of the things that we need to do for Sunday. Couple of things I'm going to add. 1, minimizing penalties.
That's
Sunday was a penalty catastrophe, offensively and defensively. I think we had like 10 penalties for like 100 and something yards. We cannot give those yards to the Bengals, and we cannot let the Bengals take those yards away from us. We have to stay composed, and we have to stay mature in these situations, because these are the veterans are the ones doing the fouls. Like, we have to calm that down. We have to minimize those mistakes against this opponent, because 1, this opponent knows us very well, and number 2, they are a threat deep all the time, no matter what the receiver is. So we have to be careful with these mistakes. So I agree. So that's one front. 2, I completely agree with you with the deep ball. My thing is, let's get the other guys the ball as well. Just like, bring it back to your point, let's see Odell get some more touches. Let's get Bateman some more catches, because he had some really good catches in that first game against the Texans. We got him involved a little bit. I did like to see him come back in full form. Let's see that more. With Dobbins out, let's see Gus and Justice get those carries. Like, these guys are not scrubs. These guys can go out there, break some tackles, get at least 4 or 5 yard gains a pop. Let's let him do it. Gus is a bust. Like, just give him the ball, man. Like, so let's be more dynamic in our offensive scheme. That's my second point. 3, Lamar. Let's try to take care of the football. Okay, let's not try to do too much here. These guys know you. They played you plenty of times already. There's not much new that we can do that they haven't seen us do already. You've broken their ankles already multiple times. You hit them deep multiple times. You don't have to do anything too fancy. Let's stick to what we know. Let's not fumble the snaps. Let's stay cohesive with the snaps. I know Tyler's out. So I know with whoever's filling in for Tyler right now, get in sync. Make sure the snaps are on point, because we do not need a fumbled snap taking us back, or the Bengals jumping on a fumbled snap and taking it back for 6. So let's minimize that mistake too offensively. Let's see. Am I missing anything here? I think that's about it. I don't really have to bring up his rushing ability because he did rush a couple of times when he needed to in that first game against the Texans. I'm also with you on the pass protection. Protection has to be there against these guys because giving them the ball back too many times is a death sentence. We have to be able to score. And like I said before, match these guys point for point. That's the only way we stay in this game. These guys are coming off a terrible loss against the Browns. Absolutely abysmal. Okay, obviously they're angry and they're going to want to come back with a vengeance. Let's not let us be this bounce back game for them offensively. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Offense has to minimize mistakes and get the rest of the guys involved because we can't work Zay into the ground.
Yeah, the turnovers are huge. We cannot cough up the ball. Lamar was sloppy with the football, and that had nothing to do with the pass protection on some of those fumbles. You could argue the interception maybe was because of some pressure, but in my opinion, it was just a poor decision and a poor throw. But the fumbles were just really bad. He was in the open field with one of them, just let some guy knock it out. Sloppy, careless, tuck that ball in. And then the second one was a botched handoff. Like, cannot have that happen against this team. This is the runner-up for the Super Bowl. I mean, you just or AFC, the AFC Championship runner-up. That's what the Bengals are every single year. They're pretty. My point is, they're amazing. They're very good, and you cannot give them free opportunities with silly plays like dropping handoffs. Like that was so annoying to watch last
Got
week.
to take care of the football.
So let's take care of it. Let's play safe. Don't force anything really silly given the circumstances because we don't know what's going to happen yet in this game, but play smart football. And the penalties, yes, I agree with you with those as well. The no more pass interferences. We're about to move over to defense now, but holding, false starts, any of those, try to limit those because they really can be drive killers, especially if you pop a nice run or get a huge play in the passing game, and then it's just called back for holding and becomes from a nice 1st and 10 to a 1st and 20, and that's just really bad. You don't want to see that.
Yeah.
So let's limit the penalties. It's going to be tough because we're going to have some backups in on the offensive line. Sam Mustipher is going to be taking over at center, and Pat McCarry is going to slide over to left tackle. I'm feeling okay about Pat McCarry. He's had a lot of looks on this Ravens offensive line. He's had a lot of time at multiple positions. So he should be okay. And if they want to ever, they still have Falele on the sideline too. I wonder if they would slide him back in left tackle if McCarry starts having issues. Because he had, if you guys remember, in 2022, Falele had a lot of time at left tackle that one game against the Patriots. Or I don't know if it's left tackle. I may be wrong. I don't remember what position he played, but he saw a lot of game action when McCarry went down in New England. So you just wonder if guys are having issues. You wonder if Harbaugh might pull them and sub in some of their other dudes because they have a lot of depth at the O-line.
They do.
They also have Salah, and they all So we'll see.
We're carrying 9 offensive linemen for a reason. So
yes,
got to put them to work when we go.
So we've got the guys. You just wonder. Hopefully there's no need to make any subs. Hopefully this group plays well on both passing and run protection. And we won't need to make changes, but you just kind of wonder with all this depth, if there's issues in the first half, if Harbaugh will make that switch. We'll see on Sunday. All right, let's go on over to the defensive side of the ball. Ravens defense matching up with Joe Burrow and that high-scoring Bengals offense. I'm worried. I'll be honest, I am worried about the defense. I know they had a pretty good game against Houston, but I'm not going to lie to you.
Hey man, where's your little bit of faith, man? Jeez,
I don't know.
Right off the bat.
I have a sick feeling that it's just they're gonna be feeling themselves, and they're gonna go into Cincinnati saying, "Oh, we dominated you in the playoffs on defense. You got lucky. You got the fumble." Now, of course, you could swing that into a positive thing because we should have won that game, and we could use that as motivation. But we need to prepare for this Bengals offense extremely well because, like you said, they had a terrible game against the Browns. They're going to want nothing more than to put up 30 or 40 on our heads. So how do we not let that happen? Pressure Burrow. Pressure Burrow. Pressure Burrow. Pressure Burrow. That's the main thing. crank up the pass rush. If we can get a lot of pressure on Burrow like they did on C.J. Stroud, honestly, you're going to need more pressure on Burrow because C.J. Stroud is definitely not even close to Burrow. Burrow knows where to go with the ball when there's pressure. He'll throw it away. He'll check it down. He'll make you pay on a blitz. So we've got to make sure we are playing our assignments when we want to call those type of plays. And the next thing is tackling. That is the second key of the game for me. Wrap up Jamar Chase. You know he's getting the ball. You know he is. You know Mixon's going to get some carries and maybe some catches. You know Higgins is going to get some comeback routes on the sideline. Wrap these guys up. Take your losses. Take your lumps. And don't turn a decent play into a huge play. Because it's the Bengals. They're going to get some good plays. You just already know they're going to get some nice chunk plays. So limit those. Make the stops. Make them go down the field. Don't just let them burn you up top. Keep things underneath. I think if they can start that early, if they can get Burrow to keep checking it down, kind of like how they played in the first game against Cincinnati last year, how Burrow was trying to go deep and he couldn't get anybody going, and we held him to 17 in Baltimore on that Sunday Night Football win. Make them get aggressive. Like, start that mentality, oh, I got to start pushing the ball downfield, and it might force Burrow into mistakes because Burrow is pretty aggressive with the ball at times. He likes to take some shots. Let's make him pay on some of these situations. So, rattle them, wrap people up, and keep everything in front of you. Because the last thing you want to do is get Jamar Chase feeling good, get T. Higgins feeling good about going deep. We don't want to see another 500-yard day from Burrow. I don't think that's going to happen, but I just have a feeling that if things start clicking for this Bengals offense and the Ravens don't, stay tight on defense, stay on their toes, it could get ugly fast on defense. And this is why you said earlier we need to have that offense play tit for tat in case we do get into a shootout. Now, it'd be amazing if Mike McDonald could dial up some crazy blitzes, and we need to see another 4-man rush, David Ojabo, instant block shed, sack fumble. That'd be nice. I'd like for us to get some pressure on Burrow without rushing 5 or 6. Can we get a 4-man pass rush on Burrow? That was my first key of the game, but just to break it down even further, can we get 4-man pass rushes? And, of course, I know Mike McDonald's going to blitz, but it'd be nice if we could get some rhythm off our edge rushers. I was watching a clip from Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio and Chris Sims, and he hit it right on the head about the Bengals' offensive line. They had some issues blocking Cleveland last week. Burrow had a season-low 82 yards. That's unheard of with this offense. Myles Garrett was feasting. Zadarius Smith was feasting. I know we don't have those type of guys on the defensive line, but if we can generate just some of that pressure and make Burrow uncomfortable, make him start scrambling, extending plays unnecessarily, that can let some of our guys chase him down. We could get maybe David Ojabo to get another sack like he did last year against Burrow in that Week 18 matchup to close out the season. So don't let him start cooking. Make him uncomfortable. Make him check behind him. Make him check to his side. Don't have him just be able to just constantly look downfield and not even worry about his surroundings. Let's make him uncomfortable. If we can do that, we have a nice chance to win this game.
Agreed. I really don't say fault in anything you're saying here. I think you're spot on. Pass rush has to be on point. You know how I talked about Burrow tap dancing around us those times we played against him previously. The one thing, I have a little more faith in the Ravens defense this time around. Reasoning is why. One, I think past performances that we've seen from Burrow has shown that he is human and that we are able to stop him when we need to. Now, let's look back at that playoff game. They didn't look good. You know what I mean? I'm not obviously that was a year ago. So that was a long time ago. I'm not trying to just bring up the past, but my point is that they did not look good in that game. What we were doing was working. And if that fumble doesn't happen, God, just get myself PTSD. If that fumble doesn't happen at that moment in the goal line, it could go differently, man. Like I
Dom,
think.
can I say one thing? I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to
Yeah.
say one thing though, because you're right. They did not look
No,
good.
I know.
They did not look good in the playoffs. But 3 guys were on that team that will not be on the field on Sunday: Marlowe, Marcus Williams, and Marcus Peters.
That is true. You do
What's
make valid points.
That's why I'm nervous. Can Rock Ya-Sin hold up? Can Ronald Darby hold up? Can Brandon Stevens hold up? I don't know.
I think if we
because
just stick to a game plan, right? Let's just stick to a solid game plan. Let's limit Chase, right? Higgins didn't even have any. I feel like he didn't have any catches in that game. I know he was targeted, just no catches, right? So at that point, like you said, let's continue to bring the pressure. Do we have a Myles Garrett? No. Do we have Zadarius Smith? No. But we have young guys who are ready to go out there and go and feast on Joe Burrow. We just need them to get loose to give these guys. Is Rock Ya-Sin a top 5 corner right now? No. But I mean, he is a great lockdown corner who was very supplemental to the Raiders last year. So I'm hoping that with his performance, he can do a really good job on Chase and give us an edge as far as having Burrow to try to find another person to throw to. I think that's kind of the key is we have to limit Chase and get back to Burrow in order to be successful. So like you said, limiting the big plays, right? Because obviously if we've already had the formula of not letting anything deep beat us, right? You said it yourself. We did it before already. Letting Burrow take some check downs, letting him throw for like 5 yards, that's okay. But limiting the deep plays and not letting Burrow tap dance around the pocket while we're over there scrambling trying to bring him down. Like pass rush has to be key in this game. I want to see some more Clowney. Clowney had a lot of pressures in that first game. Let's see those pressures turn into sacks. Oweh, again, good amount of pressure last game. Let's see you get a sack. Ojabo, you already have a strip sack on Burrow. Let's get 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's let these guys go ham. That's what's going to be the key to this game because Chase is probably going to get his regardless. Higgins is probably going to try to get open regardless. Mixon, I mean, is Mixon. I can't really argue against that. But at the end of the day, let's get back to Burrow. We see, like I said earlier, he's not human. I mean, he is human. Sorry. He is human. Okay. So at the end of the day, he makes mistakes and he has bad performances. Shoot, let's get a pick. Let's get a pick. Like, let's just get him uncomfortable because he played us so many times already. I mean, I'm pretty sure they already have the game plan in place, but let's just throw something different at him and let's just dominate. I feel like this is going to be a close one. Patrick Queen and Roquan, I feel like are going to be 2 big pieces, right, in this game because we saw Patrick Queen's pursuit. He went crazy in that first game. He even got a sack. Shoot, let's let Queen come in and get Burrow one good time. You know, Roquan got to the quarterback last game too. He throw different blitzes at him, throw different pressure. Mike McDonald, go into your bag, go crazy. Like it's okay. It's the Bengals. Like we had these. Like I've said 9 million times, the division wins matter, and the earlier we get them, the better. So I think my main thing is pass rush. Let's get back there. That's pretty much the basis. All right. But I do have faith in them. The one thing I disagree a little bit, I do have a little more faith in them than I do because Lamar's at quarterback. That's all I'm saying. I think, he'll galvanize since he's on the sideline, in my opinion.
We will for sure see. We also got to limit the pass interferences and the illegal contacts. Again, cannot give Burrow and that offense free first downs. Got to turn your head. Brandon Stevens, I love your effort, but please turn your head when the ball comes towards you. He is one of the number 1 culprits of getting flagged. So please, please turn around when the ball comes towards you.
Just turn around. That's all you have to do. Just turn around.
These cornerbacks, limit these receivers, because that is, back to defense for just a second. Can these guys limit these wide receivers? I don't know, because it's been a rotation. Ronald Darby, Ardarius Washington. Well, he's played more safety and slot, but Brandon Stevens and Rock Ya-Sin. Can these guys hold up? I don't know, because at some point the Texans got going with Robert Woods. We don't want that to be Jamar Chase.
We got to cover over the middle.
So please, please, please tackle.
Agreed.
And we'll see how they do this weekend. There was one other thing I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was. It had to do with offense. If it comes back to me, whatever. Bengals injury report. Let me check on that real quick. So everybody's practicing. Nobody did not miss practice this week. I mean, yeah, there was one guy that missed it, but he's still questionable for the game. That's linebacker Marcus Bailey dealing with a knee injury. Running back Chris Evans was the second guy dealing with a hamstring injury. Both were limited in practice this week and questionable to play. The third one, their defensive end, Joseph Ozai, I'm not familiar with him. Is that a young rookie or is that a second-year player? I'm not sure who it is. But apparently he's a pass rusher. Logan Wilson appeared on the injury report, limited on Wednesday, but full practice on Thursday and Friday. He should be good to go for Sunday. They're captain on defense. And the Bengals are pretty healthy for the most part.
Do you ever feel like every time we play these guys, we're the ones banged up and then you're all good to go? That is such a travesty.
They're usually
every game
very healthy by the end of the year. They just can't get over that hump at the end. Other than the Burrow injury that one year, they really have not dealt with major injuries. That they really haven't. Jamar Chase never gets hurt. T. Higgins did miss some time last week, but last year. But he ended up coming back in the playoffs. So none of these guys ever miss substantial time.
We never can we can never go against the Bengals team on team fully healthy these past couple of games, and it's very aggravating. Very much aggravating.
I remember what I was going to say about the offensive side of the ball. Let's try to get Gus Edwards going a little bit more this game. When he gets steamrolling, he's really hard to bring down. Let's get him going, because then the Bengals would have two things to worry about every time we are in the shotgun. Is he going to give it to Gus Edwards and he's going to steamroll for 5 yards, or is he going to play fake it for a first down on a slant or an inside post or whatever? I really think the running game is going to be especially important in this game. We have to have good balance. And we'll see how that goes. Is Lamar going to do some QB keepers? I don't know. But he is going to have to do some scrambles, I bet, because we have two backup linemen in. I expect him to be under pressure on some of these plays. So can he use his elusiveness to get some more, make some more magic and dance out of the pocket and get some yards? We'll see. We will see. All right, we're at the point where it's time to make our predictions. I guess I'll go first. Unfortunately, you can call me being negative, but I see the Ravens losing this 28-24. A little bit better showing on offense. Well, maybe. 24 points is actually less than 25. I'm just thinking about it. I just don't know if the offense is going to clean up enough in this week of practice. I feel like Lamar may be under pressure, like I just said, a fair amount. And he may take some sacks, some big sacks, to where we're not scoring as many points as we want. I feel like he might take some bad sacks as we're approaching scoring range that kick us out of range, and we have to punt the ball away. That's why one of my keys to the game was pass protection. If he stands upright and he's got time for the most part, then we could definitely put up 30. Definitely. But me personally, since this is a prediction show, I'm just going to go with 28-24, Cincinnati, Ravens lose, Bengals cover the spread. I think the spread was Bengals by 3.5. They barely cover by a half point, in my opinion. It's a battle the whole game. I'll be shocked if the Ravens get blown out. I don't expect them to get blown out, but I do expect them to just fall. This is the type of game the Ravens would love to have early in the season to take a nice little 2-0 record, and drop the Bengals to 0-2, not only as their, overall record, but in the division. That would be huge. But I just don't see it happening. I think it's close. I think we have a chance on the very last drive of the game to go down and win, but unfortunately, there's an interception or a turnover on downs that will end that. Hopefully, I'm wrong. All right,
I see you're playing the dark side of the force on this one. So I'm gonna be the light of the party here. I have the Ravens winning it out. I think, like you said, it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna come down to who's gonna make the first mistake, and I think it could be Burrow making that mistake. So I'm gonna go Ravens in a tight one. It's probably gonna come down to a Justin Tucker kick. And I think the Ravens take it 24-21 in a nail biter.
So you've got our defense doing a little bit better. Okay.
I do. I think the defense plays a little bit better. I think they know what's at stake here. This game is very important. I know it's early, but it's still important. A division game. They know what's at stake here. When it comes towards the end of the year, this win or loss, it's going to matter no matter what. So I think they take this game super seriously, and I think, like I said, it comes down to a Justin Tucker kick, off of maybe a 3-and-out from Burrow, and then Ravens win it 24-21 in Cincy.
Now, my prediction, again, the Ravens could definitely win this if they can use our keys to the game that we just went over and apply those in the game, then they definitely can win this for sure. It's not out of the question. If I just had to pick one, I have to pick the Bengals just because this is the type of game the Ravens usually lose. It's early in the year, week 2. I don't know. Week 2 has always been a weird game for the Ravens. When is the last time, and I know they did start 2-0 in 2020, but just over the course, and we can fast forward 10 years, the Ravens never, ever start 2-0. There's only a handful of times where they start 2-0.
Amen. Any given Sunday,
this would be
any given time.
Nice trend to change that. I know last week's week 2 was that Dolphins debacle. So this one, hey, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Ravens. Again, I was wrong about the Steelers last week. I'd love to be wrong against the Ravens. So let's see. We're excited.
And I think they can do it. I think
they
can knock off the Bengals.
Do it.
Yeah, they can do it. I feel like they can do it. I mean, I don't see why not. The Bengals are coming off a terrible loss. Yes, will they be hungry to get a win? Absolutely, of course. But obviously, we coming off a sloppy win. We're gonna want to get better. I'm not gonna lie, Jason. I agree. We do need that strength and conditioning because, dude. But yeah, I think we can pull it off, man. It's gonna come down. I feel like the JT taking it home for us another time, like he's done for us 3 billion times in the past. I think Gus gets us in the end zone. I feel like Zay might score his first touchdown in this affair, and I just think it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a fun one to watch. Will there be heart attacks? Probably. Will you need blood pressure medicine? Absolutely. But at the end of the day,
this is a one-sided affair. But we'll see. Maybe the Bengals' offensive line will completely crumble, and we'll get instant pressure every play. And Burrow throws 3 picks. Oh, that'd be amazing.
And after the week 1, I'm expecting anything. I
just don't think the Bengals are going to go like that 2 weeks in a row, because that was arguably Joe Burrow's worst game ever. Arguably.
I mean, will he perform better than he did week 1?
Most likely, yes. He will perform better than he did in week 1. But that might just not be enough for this Ravens defense. We'll see what happens. Like I said, anything can happen. Anything. It's any given Sunday for anything. I really wish we had Marlowe for this game.
I know.
And Marcus Will.
Oh, and that's hurting us the most because Marlowe did a really great job on Chase, I feel, in these past couple of games. And it just hurts not having him out there on the field. But
that's what makes me nervous. Ronald
I
Darby
know.
going up against Chase. Brandon Stevens going up against Chase.
Every time you say Brandon Stevens' name, I just hear every tear out of your mouth.
And don't get me wrong,
I
I
hear
love
every tear.
Brandon Stevens. He
We
tries
love
so
Brandon
hard. He
Stevens. We
does a
do love
pretty
Brandon
good
Stevens.
job for the most part, but there are plays where he just hangs on for dear life, and I don't want that against this
No,
offense.
I
But anyway,
completely understand.
let's see. This is why Roquan and Patrick Queen are going to have
Big,
a game. Both of them are going to have
they're gonna have.
games.
They're gonna be a
They
big factor
are
in
going
this
to have
game.
to shut down the middle of the field, not allow Mixon to get going, make the Bengals one-sided and predictable so the defense can have a better chance of stopping them. But I am really, really relying on Roquan Smith here because we've got to have him. Our captain of the both of our captains of the secondary are gone. Marcus is gone. Marlowe is rehabbing. So we don't have anybody in the secondary right now. We have Kyle Hamilton. He's good, but he's only in year 2. And now he's assumed that, safety role where he's not on the line of scrimmage all the time. So we really, really need a great game from our linebacking corps and the pass rush. That's what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. If the pass rush can help out Ronald Darby in all those corners so much.
If we can get the same amount of sacks that we got on CJ Stroud in week 1, that is a lot to ask for because, the defense, they broke our standards in week 1. We asked for 2 or 3. They gave us 5. Great performance out of that. But if we can get maybe 4 or 5 sacks on Burrow, I think that can play a huge factor. And I think that should be the goal as far as getting pressure on Burrow. Let's aim for 4 or 5 sacks on Burrow because, again, he's a very dynamic QB. He can get out of the pocket, sling it. Let's try to work on 4 or 5. If not, again, that is a lot to ask for, but I think that should be the standard. I think 4 to 5, maybe again from our linebacking core, getting back there on a blitz, getting some pressure, like we talked about them being a big factor in this game. 4 or 5. I think that should be the standard here as far as our defensive pressure. I don't know. I feel. You think that's a good number, like 4 or 5?
But yeah, that's reasonable to answer your question. But is that enough to win? I've seen Burrow take 6 sacks, 7 sacks, and they win. It's not even going to come down to how many sacks we get. It's going to be the pressure that makes Burrow make mistakes. That's the problem. Burrow getting tackled is fine for the Bengals for the most part. Making Burrow throw a bad read into coverage is different. So it's not all about sacks. We've got to play the secondary's got to feed off the pass rush as well and capitalize on these mistakes. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier on defense, if the ball is thrown to you, please catch it because that's been an issue for a couple of years now. It was better last year. It's been getting better, but there are points where we just drop really bad interceptions sometimes. Remember what Patrick Queen was going through last year? That was terrible. So let's not start any trends like that. I know we didn't intercept a pass last week, but this would be the week to do that. We need 2 or 3. If they can force a lot of turnovers, then it definitely swings the Ravens' way. So, again, we will see. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. on CBS this Sunday. Dom, any last notes before we get on out of here?
No, man. I'm just ready for Sunday. Hopefully, we can get the dub, start the year 2-0. Yeah. I'm ready. I'm hopeful. I'm positive, man. This is positive optimism.
Yeah.
Dom and Gonz Sports Talk, and I think we get the win. I think we get the win.
There you have it. Gonz's prediction, 28-24, a Ravens loss. Dom's prediction, 24-21, a Ravens victory on a JT field goal. What are y'all's thoughts? Who's going to win this game? What's your team going to do this week? Let us know down below. Thanks again for tuning in to this second week 2 Ravens pregame live stream. Always fun doing these. We'll see you guys again probably maybe Sunday or Monday. We'll let you know for the week 1 wrap-up. There's other good matchups around the NFL that we will be breaking down as well. The Steelers are taking on the Browns, another interdivision
Monday
matchup.
Night Football.
Monday Night Football on a doubleheader. Actually, that's going to be the 8:15
Oh, yeah,
game.
doubleheader, yeah.
Or the Panthers are taking on the Saints at 7:15. There's a lot of doubleheaders this year. That and more crazy matchups coming up, too. Dallas taking on the Aaron Rodgers-less Jets and others.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Jags in Jacksonville. The 0-1 Chiefs taking on the 1-0 Jacksonville. A rematch of last year's divisional round. So basically, there's just a ton of stuff, and we'll break it all down for you when we see you guys on Sunday/Monday. All right? Thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a subscription down below. We're on the road to 50 subscribers, so please, please, please leave a sub if you enjoyed. Dom, any last messages before we head out? I'm about to sign us out.
I mean, share the video, your grandma, your mama, your friends, your cousins, your uncles. Let them sub to us, man. We love to bring other content to you guys, so we appreciate every like, every sub, every comment. Thanks to all the guys who do view and watch our content, and we'll see you on the next one.
Send us DMs, too. Give us feedback. What do you want to see? What do you want us to cover? We'd be happy to do so. All right. Well, week 2 is fastly approaching. We'll see you guys at the end of it. This is Dom and Gonz signing out.